Hey, I'm Justin of Make.Test.Battle and this is my GunBlade. The Lawbringer's out, we've all got our opinions of it. It's an okay blaster, but it's really just a pistol. However, it's really cool. Following the rule of cool, I decided to make LARP-safe GunBlade. Made out of foam, and it's safe enough to tag people with.
Because we don't do blaster taps?
Why not blaster taps? Well, because we don't do blaster taps in Australia. So we do allow for small melee and bayonets in the Battle Select rule set. The blade itself is made out of camping foam and core flute. Core flute being the plastic cardboard that real estate signs are made out of. And I had originally made a prototype knife. I didn't want to pay full price for a proper LARP sword. I wanted something cheap, but also safe. I tested out whether or not I could make one. Layers of the camping foam and core flute to make the blade, and then the edge itself, a camping sleeping mat foam, which is softer and more squishy. So that's the side that actually hits you. It's pretty light, it's safe. The major difference, however, is I only used the foam layers and core flute all the way through and into the handle, which made it very weak and flexible. So, for the GunBlade, I went to the trouble of making a core, using 5 sheets of core flute as a base for the actual blade. Once I had that, I cut out the hard foam for the center, and then core flute on both sides, foam on the top sides. Did the same thing with the soft foam, and instead this time I used 3 layers. Something else I learnt, however, from the prototype is the foam itself isn't very scratch resistant. What I've done for this one is I've actually covered it all in just pond sealer. You use it to seal up the bases of ponds. And it's non-toxic and it's durable, it's meant to be out in the weather, and it's waterproof. I wanted the GunBlade to be able to take hits and be able to parry against other melee weapons. Using Plastibond, it's similar to epoxy putty. Filled up the blaster at all the contact points and then grinded it down to make sure that the core could then slide in. Cut slots along the bottom and on the back of the handle. And on the front muzzle, it doesn't actually go inside, but I did cut the core to make sure it was flush and in pressing contact. The whole thing is actually really solid. Quite happy with how the connections come up. It was a very long process. Trying to fit the core in, I had to cut it back by eye. This whole thing has sort of winged it. But one of the priorities was to make sure that I could attach it onto the shell, reinforced, but also maintain blaster functionality. Currently, I haven't done a spring replacement. However, as cool as this is, I did learn a lot while making this, and there are a couple problems. For starters, the pond sealer. I hadn't worked with it before, and I didn't know what kind of texture I'd get from it. The black pond sealer comes with the pigment powder mixed into it, and it has this almost skateboard grip texture, which I don't think it's not very safe to use on a LARP weapon, of course, and you don't want that to come into contact with people's skin. To remedy that a bit, I have sanded it down to smooth it off. However, the clear pond sealer is actually milky in texture, and it comes out just perfectly smooth and shiny. If I was to do this again, I would probably just use clear mixed with tints or pigments. I really should have had more foam going up all the way to the core and then cut it back to when I connected it. I'd also bring the blade and the guard coming in more streamlined into the base of the handle. The biggest problem with it though is the weight. I did cut out these holes to help reduce the weight. However, it's still pretty hefty. The blade itself, I think, is about 800 grams. I don't know how heavy the blaster has become from adding in all the Plastibond. So this is really just a touch tagger. So if I was to do this again, I would extensively minimize this. Probably take off the whole front gun section, have the blade actually connect into the front, and make it so that these could be dual wielded. That's the thing that everyone liked about the Hammer Shot and the Sweet Revenge, is that it was a single hand operation, so then you could dual wield. Personally, I still consider this to be a work in progress because I haven't finished it. It needs to be painted, needs to be made to look a lot prettier. I don't know what to color to paint it, so if you want to leave a suggestion down below, you can do so in the comments. We do have a Nerf war coming up in 2 weeks, so I will probably get some more footage of trying to use this thing. Speaking of looking forward to things, I have gotten some sledge fires, and we will be doing the sledge fire tutorial very soon. So when you want to know when that comes out, go to our Facebook page, click get notifications to make sure you stay up to date for every time we release something. If you enjoy this format, give us a like, or let us know what you think in the comments down below. We could do more of these, just works in progress on large projects that take a couple weeks to finish. But anywho, thanks for watching.
Yeah, cover that thing. Cover that thing in that goop. Yeah. Should have get the face.
Alex, you're making this strange. And I don't feel weird about it.
Write your name with it. Write your name with it.